Hey girl, hey, welcome to Tia's Table. Let's talk about everything from the latest fitness and wellness trends, recipes that are actually worth cooking, and the craziness that's happening on our side of the internet. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome to another episode of Tia's Table. So happy to be back with you. It's 2026. It's January the 2nd at 3:40. And as I sit here on my couch with my candle burning, I have a lovely glass of ginger ale sitting in front of me. I'm feeling really good and I'm liking the way 2026 is starting. It's been a very relaxing, smooth, easy, and dare I say, soft start to the year. We're only a day and a half into it, but if this is any indication of what we can look forward to for the rest of the year, I'm here for this. I hope you are also having a very nice, soft, easy, relaxing start to the year. Have you figured out all of the things you want to do yet? Girl, you don't have to have it all figured out today. It's only January 2nd. But I did want to talk about the whole word of the year thing today. Before we do that, let's talk about what's been on my table. We had the traditional New Year's Day dinner yesterday, and it was so good. We had black-eyed peas. We had a mix of turnip and mustard greens. I couldn't find collard greens anywhere. I went to 2 different stores. They were all sold out, and I wasn't willing to go to a third and possibly fourth. I said these greens will have to do. My husband fried chicken. It was great. Everybody was happy and full. We went on about our day. I can't remember if I mentioned these Ensure shakes here on the podcast or if it was only on social media. So if I've talked about them on this podcast, girl, forgive me. If I have only spoken about them on social media and it's news to you, then girl, write down what I'm about to say and then make sure you either look on Amazon or go to your grocery store and see if y'all have them. The Ensure Max Protein French vanilla flavor shakes, they are everything. They are so good. They do not have that chalky, milky aftertaste. They are 150 calories. I think you get 4 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, 6 grams of carbs, I think, and then, of course, 30 grams of protein in each shake. They leave you feeling satisfied. You don't feel full. You don't feel stuffed. But if you're hungry before you drink one, when you're done drinking that little carton of goodness, you still might want to eat, but you really wouldn't need to. Like you will be content and satisfied. I am going to try mixing one of those with coffee for like an iced coffee drink, and I'll report back on if it's good or not, or if I feel like I just wasted a shake. But all on its own, it's amazing. Ice cold right out of the refrigerator. At one point, I was pouring them over glasses of ice, but now I don't see the point in doing that either. Like they really are just good right out of the carton, ice cold. Do not say I did not tell you. These are excellent meal supplements, mainly because they're super low in calories and super low in sugar and super low in carbs. Like it is the ideal shake. And y'all know up until now, I never promoted a drink or shake. And I'm not even getting paid to promote this. I'm just telling you, like, because I'm a girl's girl, I finally have a shake that tastes good. It's got good numbers. And you really could, especially for the people who like to say to me, you don't eat breakfast, or I don't eat breakfast, I don't have time, blah, 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 blah. Girl, buy you some of these, put them in your refrigerator. And as you're walking out of the house to hit your daily commute, grab one and drink it while you drive to work. Or take one with you to work and drink it for lunch. When I mean to tell you they are good and that the numbers are there, and it really is a huge cheat code because you don't even have to make it. So you can't use that as an excuse either. Like, I don't have time to make a smoothie. You don't have to make it. It's fine the way that it is. At most, you can refrigerate it. But I have also had one room temp, and it wasn't the most awful thing in the world. If you see them or if they're on Amazon, I haven't looked to see if they're on Amazon, but If you see them, buy them. It's the Ensure Max Protein French vanilla flavor. So good, so perfect. Let's talk about a few things. Number one, the word of the year. I love the word of the year theme. I love having something that you're constantly reminding yourself of all year long. I love the idea of having something that kind of serves as like a guidepost, right? Like the way that I'm living in this moment, or when I'm about to make a decision, I'm like, does this line up with what we said our word of the year was? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, then maybe we shouldn't do it, or we should skip it, or we should not feel obligated to participate, right? I love a word of the year. I love a word of the year, I think, more than I love making like a bucket list, even more than I think I love having that bingo card, even though it's cute and it's fun to like check off the things. I like having a word of the year more than I like making New Year's resolutions. I like having a word of the year because it is like your North Star for the whole year. Am I moving towards this idea I had for myself at the beginning? Yes or no? And I love a yes or no. I love a yes or no. My word of the year is revival. I chose that word because I really do want to return back to myself. I want to get excited about being me all over again. I really do want to hit like a reset, restart button in a way that changes the way that I live and how I operate and how I function. It's quite the thing to be a person who is online, talking about something like I'm online sharing about workouts and sharing about eating healthy or whatever. But then you do have a whole like real life that you live behind the things you actually talk about online. And I would say in my real life, I have gotten so far away from who I am as a person and who I know myself to be, like in my mind. My day-to-day life just wasn't adding up to that. And when that happens to not just me, but when that happens to anybody, it does start to create a little bit of resentment. Maybe not resentment with anybody else, but I think the resentment that you could possibly have with yourself is the most important, because you have to live with you every day, right? So every day that you're not doing the things you want to do, or you feel like weeks are passing by and you haven't made any time for yourself, or the daily pace of life is just so fast that you feel like you're missing out on opportunities to just live in the way that you always saw yourself living, I think that could be like a terrible thing. And I know this because I have lived that experience, right? And not to say that means you have a bad life, because some people are so extra and they're just like, oh, but you seem like you have a good life. I do. Like, girl, I have a great life. It's good, but it's busy. And sometimes I get suffocated by my own life because a lot of the stuff that I have to do has nothing to do with me. It's a lot of responsibility. Being like a full-fledged adult and having 3 children and being in a long-term marriage, like all of that stuff is a lot. And it squeezes the life out of you if you let it, right? And the other day, when I think I might have been flipping through a cookbook, maybe for canning or something. I don't know what it was. Oh, I do know what it was. It's when I hung the signs up that used to belong to my grandma. My mom had given me those signs like shortly after my grandfather passed away. My grandmother passed away a little over 10 years ago. My grandfather just passed away in February of 2025. And of course, like as my mom has been emptying out their house and doing stuff, she gifted me those signs from my grandmother's kitchen, which meant the world to me. Like it meant everything to me for her to give those to me. And so I'd had them for a long time, and they had just been sitting on my kitchen counter. And I kept saying, oh, I need to hang those signs. I need to hang them. And then I started saying, well, oh, I'm going to paint the walls and like clean the walls up. Then I'll hang them. But then, then the big to-do happened. And then once I was feeling better from the big to-do, I was like, you know what? I'm going to paint these walls and hang my grandma's signs. Well, by now I had already purchased 2 signs of my own. One was a sign that my grandma also had. Crazy enough, that sign came to me in a dream one night. It's the sign that's a kitchen prayer. And I don't know, like it was just in my dream that night. I woke up the next morning and immediately Googled it, found it on Etsy, and bought one of my own. I know for a fact my grandma used to have that one, but girl, I don't know what happened to it. Maybe somebody else took it. And then I was at the flea market one day and I saw the Serenity Prayer on one of those same ceramic type kitchen signs, let's call them. And so I bought that one because I'm like, oh yeah, that would go great with my collection, right? So now all of the signs are hanging up. And I cannot tell you how much that has changed the whole vibe of my kitchen. Just that little thing, hanging those signs up on that little piece of wall has turned my kitchen from a very barren feeling, I don't know, space that you cook and eat in to feeling like a cozy home kitchen. And how I know I'm not making this up in my mind is because my husband said the same thing. He was like, wow, it feels really different in here. And I'm like, yeah, I literally think it is the signs, right? And I have found that ever since I hung those signs up in my kitchen, I have been hanging out in there more, just like sitting at the counter more, when I eat or drink, obviously, but really, I didn't used to sit down all the time when I would eat or drink. I would be eating and drinking in motion, like as I was doing other things. But now I'm actually sitting at the countertop eating or like looking at something on my phone or like flipping through a book, whatever. I'm actually hanging out in there as opposed to only being in there when it's time for me to be in there because now I got to do something. Those signs have also made me actually want to create more in the kitchen. So like the other day, I did the chicken jerky thing that turned out fabulous, might I add. I will be doing another batch of them and sending out to people. I made the chicken jerky. I'm going to make my own pickles. I'm going to do some regular dill pickles and then I'm going to do some that are a little spicy. And I'm excited to do it. I just got a soup recipe from a friend today. I'm definitely going to do that sometime in January. It's made me want to be in there, and something about that ignited in me like the whole return to self kind of thing. You have got to, in a big way, get back to you and the essence of who you are, which made me start thinking about who I used to be. And does anybody ever think about that? Like, do you ever think about who you were at the most innocent state in your life? Like before you started growing up, before people started getting on your nerves, before you became jaded, before, you learned that you had to have like walls up and you could only let them down for certain people or certain situations. Like, who were you at your rawest form of your humanity or of yourself? I know for me, I was a very silly, carefree, whimsical, quirky, busy little girl. Like I told y'all on the last call, my mama had me in everything because she had to channel all that energy. Girl, I was in dance. I was in gymnastics. I cheered for 2 different cheerleading squads. It was actually the same squad, but one was competition and one was like for the football team. And my mama had me on both. Okay. Mama had me on both. Because she was like, we have got to figure out something to do with and for you. I have got to keep you busy. Right? I was the little girl that knew the whole dance, the choreography to Blossom when it would come on TV. That was me in our little living room doing the back bend walkover. because I knew how to do it because I was in gymnastics, right? That was me. I love a dance. I love a costume. I love a moment to like gather and have fun and be festive. I love music. Like, I think people think that like, oh, you just like Beyonce just because, because everybody love Beyonce. Like, no, baby, you don't understand. I love music. Like, for real, for real. That's why I said I was going to learn how to play the guitar. I'm like, because my dream is to be able to actually play an instrument and then do a cute little sing along just for the funsies of it. People don't get it. Who were we before we had to grow up, or before people started making us grow up? And if you are the oldest daughter, or if you are the only daughter, and for me, that's me. I don't have any sisters, but I'm the second oldest, right? I'm the second oldest and I'm the only girl. So when I was growing up, I may as well have been the oldest daughter, right? I experienced oldest daughter syndrome, where you're basically like a little junior mom, right? Because I have a brother who is 11 years younger than me. And I think when you grow up doing a whole lot of things, as most little girls do, by the time you get out of college, you do need to decompress and just take a breath. Like, oh my gosh, right? All of the chores. And I'm not saying it like some of this stuff maybe wasn't helpful, right? Because some of these are life, and I know someone's going to say that, well, some of these are life skills and you need to learn them. Yes, true. But did I have to learn them in the way that I did? I don't think so. I would argue that I didn't have to. So I'm like, yeah, by the time you get out of college, for some people, you do just need to take a moment and just catch your breath. But you really don't get to do that, because now you are, in fact, an adult that people are looking to have a job and start being more responsible, so that you don't have to keep living off of your parents, right? And by the time you start working, and like me, I went from college right into corporate America. I left college and my first job out of school was the Washington Post, the newspaper. So you go into that type of environment where people are like, yeah, like, girl, this is not the little leagues. This is like, girl, this is the Washington Post. And if you can't be professional at the Washington Post, where can you be professional? You know what I'm saying? Then you become an adult. Then you have kids. And then it's like, it just domino effects. And you never really have the time to get back to yourself. And I think it's rare that people are able to even do that. If you are a person that has always been able to like hold on to you at the core of who you really are, like, that is such a huge blessing. And I hope that you know that it is. But for the majority of people, no, girl, we're jaded and we have attitudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we are trying to work on healing so that we can have that childlike joy again when we go do the things that we would like to do, that speak to who we are. It spoke to us back then, and it still speaks to us today. And I think that is the point that I'm getting to with my word of the year, revival. I'm like, I just want to get back to that, to having honestly, I would like to get back to the place where I almost have the nervous system of a child, where you don't really think about anything. Nothing really stresses you out. And even if you do think about something, it's not to the point where it's like it's weighing on you. It's like, no, I want to be able to live and do and have fun in a way that doesn't feel like borrowed time. And I know that that's possible. I just have to make it so. Like, I have to truly hold that part of my life as a top priority in the same way I do all that other stuff. So excited for 2026. And I really do feel like, even though we're only on January 2nd, that I have gotten off to a good start with the whole theme of what revival means. I have already started creating my junk journal and creating a space to kind of document this year. That has been fun. And let me tell you, that has been more soothing than I thought it would be. Like sitting down at the table with all of my little journal goodies, cutting and pasting, printing out pictures, creating, designing, all of that. I had no idea. I am truly going to love doing that. And I can tell because the few hours that I've been able to do it up until this point has been fun. And I'm like, oh, if it's like this every time I sit down to do this, this is going to be great. And I also like it because it gets me off of my phone. It gets me off of the TV, which right now I'm not watching any shows, but that's not the point. It gets me out of like digital things and it slows me down and it gives me the opportunity to actually think. Very big pause there. Because in doing the junk journaling so far, I was sitting there yesterday when I was designing the cover and I was thinking to myself, when was the last time that you actually sat down and you were able to do something like this and actually think about it as you were doing it and it was peaceful? Like I was in there, I was doing it, no one was bothering me, and I was able to actually like enjoy it. So I'm like, yes, more of this all year long. Like, help me get back to doing more of this. Are you doing a word of the year? What is your word of the year? We're kind of talking about it today on Instagram. And I love hearing people's word of the year and like what it means to them and how they went about selecting it and what they're hoping to get out of it. So share it with me. DM me about the word of the year. And if you're not doing a word of the year, share something else with me that you're doing to hopefully make your 2026 the way that you want it to be. Because at the end of the year, that is what matters. Lots of things that we have to do to be responsible. Those things absolutely matter. But I feel like as a 40-something, I really want to see more 40-somethings frolicking and playing and just doing whatever they want to do, twirling. I was on YouTube today when I was on the treadmill and I was looking for 40-something Black women vloggers so that I could just watch them dilly-dally and do things. And girl, I had the hardest time. I'm like, am I not finding them because I'm doing this search on Peloton? Do I need to do this search like maybe on my phone? Go ahead and subscribe to some channels. And that way when I get on here tomorrow, the channels are already there. Or are there just not that many 40 plus something women vlogging? And I get it because we are too busy. Like who has the time to film and then also edit? Nobody probably does. It's probably very difficult to live the life you want to have and then also document it. So I totally understand, but I'm like, there's got to be somebody. So I wrote on Threads and I asked like, who are the 40 plus something Black women that vlog about just, I don't know, girl, let's go get a coffee. Let's go walk around Home Goods. What kind of little home projects are you doing? Are you baking or making anything? Are you traveling? Are you picking out outfits? Like those little girly moments. I want to watch that while I'm on the treadmill. And so that thread has people in it that we can all like subscribe to and watch. So if you follow me on Threads, if you find that one, we've been suggested a few different channels and I'm going to make my way through that list, watch and subscribe, as they say at the end of their videos. Because yes, I want to see more of that. I want to see more women my age doing stuff just because it is fun. It's not attached to anything. It's not for their work. It's not for their side hustle. It's not for any reason other than they just wanted to do it. Because that's reason enough. So cheers to 2026. I'm so excited for my revival. And I will be sharing and doing all the things all year long because girl, I want to. I want to. Speaking of getting back to some of the stuff, one of the things that was on my 2025 bingo card was the home decorating thing, because I start that every year and then I put it down and I never pick it back up. I never actually make decisions and stick with them. Well, the other day, and I don't know if this is good or bad, because I was gifted money for something for a specific reason. And I didn't use that money on what I was supposed to. I spent that money on this on this stuff for my house. And I do want to talk about that. So really quick, I was gifted the money to buy myself a watch because I had been saying like, oh, I want to have a cute little watch because I'm not going to be wearing that fitness watch all the time anymore, yada, yada, yada. But then when it came time for me to buy the watch, I was like, really? But you also want these things for your house. So what if you just use this money on that instead? Because that would also make you very happy. And it would give you that sense of relief, like you're checking things off of your list. Like, girl, these watches, they ain't going nowhere. They're not going one place. I share that for more than one reason. One, because in that moment, it came to me that I think I really have a problem spending money on myself, especially if it is what I consider to be like a large amount of money. I have no problem receiving gifts, but if I have to be the person that like swipes the card or like punches the number in, or like if I have to be the person who's actually making the purchase, I will second guess whether or not I should do it and if I should be using that money on something else, which is going to be really funny to someone listening to this, because also I am the friend that will always tell you to buy everything. If you reach out to me and you ask me, should I buy this? Or if you just tell me, I think I need so-and-so, I'm always like, girl, buy it, girl, buy it, girl, buy it. But in my own life, when I'm like, ooh, I really want to watch, you would think that I would be like, yeah, let me go swipe that card real quick. I'll be thinking to myself, do you know how many light fixtures you could probably buy with that watch money? So, and it's too late for me to do anything about it now because I've already done it. So I took that watch money and I was like, you know what? We need a ceiling fan for this living room. We need a new light fixture for the office because in 2025, I swapped the dining room and the office because I kind of felt like the office always felt cramped and it always felt dark. And so I'm like, let me swap them because we don't really use our dining room that often enough for it to be taking up so much of the square footage in this house. Like, put the dining room in the smaller room. And when we do have people over or we do have gatherings, they'll just feel a little bit more cozy and intimate because they'll be in a smaller space. And that's fine with me. But with that being said, the light fixture that was in the old dining room hangs so low that that's not going to work for that being an office because my husband is tall. And I know he probably has to duck and bend and do the most to walk around that chandelier so he can sit at the desk. So I'm like, no, that needs to go. We'll put a light fixture in here and we'll put a light fixture in the dining room. I'll get something that hangs down that's really pretty to go in there. And doing that the other day, well, this was just yesterday, actually. Doing that yesterday made me feel so good. I actually picked out the ceiling fan and the two light fixtures, and then I bought them. They are going to get delivered to my house on Monday, and I can't even believe it. I also went ahead and ordered the light bulbs that go in both light fixtures so that when I call the handyman and he comes to put all that stuff up, we're good to go. Like, I have all the things. I don't have to go to Home Depot, none of that. But on the other side of this, I'm like, why did I have such an easy time buying the things we needed for this house? But I was really struggling with buying that watch. And I was supposed to buy that watch days ago, like way before yesterday, and just never could bring myself to do it. And so then when I thought about it for too long, I was like, girl, actually, you could use that money and address some of this other stuff around the house, have the handyman come do it, and that'll keep the ball rolling on some of these home projects. And so now the ceiling fan that's currently in the living room, which works fine, it just does not emit any real light. When you flip the switch in there, a light comes on, but it has no impact on how well lit that space actually is, which is not so bad during the day. We don't even use the light during the day because the house gets enough natural light. But at nighttime, if you're in there, and let's say you're sitting on the couch while somebody is watching Monday Night Football, and you don't mind that, but you're like, I could be reading my book for book club while he's watching this football game. You'll flip the light because you thinking you about to read, and you'll be like, I can't see none of this. I can't see any of this. It's still too dark in here. So I'm going to swap it out. And so next up, I think on my list of house projects would probably be to swap out the ceiling fan in my bedroom. Not because of the light issue, but because I don't know, I'm torn. On the one hand, I would like to change the ceiling fan in here to a regular pretty light, some type of chandelier or something. But then I don't know if like 47-year-old me will be like, why did you get rid of that ceiling fan? You want to sleep with the fan on. I feel like it's a mistake to not have a ceiling fan in here. And I don't know if it is or not. So I'm going to sit on that for a minute because I don't know. But the next set of like home project things that I do will be more bedroom focused. My daughter's room is cute. She did her room herself, so she doesn't need my help and she doesn't need anything in there. Those two boys, I probably could decorate their rooms a little more. And I could like put more art on the walls or kind of like switch things up in there. And I might do that. My one son might be totally against it because he might be like, girl, you know I like for things to stay the way that they are. We don't need to make no new changes. You don't have to bring nothing new up in here. So he might not want that, but I'll talk to my youngest child about whether or not he wants to do anything for his room. But once I finish up with like a light fixture here and a light fixture there, I think in my bathroom, I want to swap those out to give us better light. That's not that yellowy. And I know somebody's going to say, oh, you just need to change the bulb. And it's like, yeah, I know I could swap out the bulbs and that will emit a different color light and the amount of light. But then also I'm like, I really just don't like the builder grade fixtures that have been in here since we have lived here. I feel like we can get something that's still that same oil bronze color, but it would be more in line with my own personal style. So really it's just light fixtures. At one point in time, I thought I was going to want to paint and some of these walls might get actual color. But I'm glad I didn't move forward with that because now I'm really thinking I'm a wallpaper girl. Like in the dining room, I really think I would like to do wallpaper down there and maybe paint the office. And then in my room, the wall behind my bed, I think I would love to do like a very bold wallpaper on that wall. And I think I'm going to do all of these things this year. Because why not? And for a long time, I was so slow with making those decisions because I was like, oh my gosh, what if we put it up and we don't like it? Or, oh my gosh, what if I put it up and it's not like the vision that I had? And then it also came to me the other day, well then girl, you could always change it. But not doing anything ever because you are afraid to make a decision, like that's not going to work anymore. You have got to stop doing that. So yeah, now we're going to do the things because I have a wonderful handyman who knows how to do everything. I'm like, yeah, all I got to do is buy the supplies and then he'll come and he'll do it. So yes, I'm really excited about crossing some of those home things off my list. And if I do enough stuff upstairs, girl, if we touch and agree long enough, I might get some insulation and some walls in that basement because let me tell you, when it's cold outside, it's cold down there where I work out. And I have like space heaters down there to kind of warm it up and the space heaters do their job. So my workouts end up being like hot everything. So like it's a hot indoor walk, it's hot Pilates, it's hot weightlifting, it's heated everything this time of year because I have to have the little space heater on to knock the chill out of that room. Lastly, let's talk about Oprah and Oprah in People magazine. because a friend shared that article with me and I read it. And she talks about her success using a GLP-1 and about how she's basically going to stay on it for the rest of her life. And when I was reading that article, I was thinking to myself, well, now every time I see an ad for GLP-1s, or whenever I see people talking about them in general, I don't ever hear anybody mention anything about quite possibly having to stay on them forever. And that was making me say to myself, I wonder if that's something that people, or not people, but like medical professionals are telling people when they go to get this, that could be a thing. Or is that only a thing for somebody like Oprah? Like, I read her article and then I had so many questions. I'm like, well, yeah, for someone like Oprah, maybe she does have the option to stay on it for the rest of her life because she probably has a doctor or a medical professional on her payroll that will make sure she has it for the rest of her life. So there's that. Oprah is in a category with that by herself. But I'm like, for the everyday person who's using it and getting success, just like Oprah is, will they too have to stay on it for the rest of their life? And if so, are regular everyday people even being given that as an option if they don't have like another reason to be taking something like Ozempic? Because I know some of the drugs are also used to treat diabetes. But if you're not taking it because you have diabetes, is your doctor going to allow you to stay on it for the rest of your life? Because I know these doctors out here are getting real funny with what they will and won't do. And so are these insurance companies. And so then I'm like, well, what if you say, okay, well, my doctor won't give it to me anymore, so I'll get it through like a program like WW or Serena's company or whoever. Like, you're just going to go buy it yourself. I'm like, I wonder how expensive that becomes for someone who feels like they want to take it for the rest of their life. Now, on our last call, I still stand by what I said. Like, if I want it, I'm going to have it. I'm going to go get it and I'm going to spend that money to make sure I'm happy with myself. But I don't know if everyone knows that they're possibly signing up to maybe have to make that choice forever. And when I read Oprah's article, that was the impression that I got from it, that like, oh, if she's feeling like she's going to have to stay on this for the rest of her life, surely she's not the only person that feels that way. And so then are patients basically being prepped with that when they show interest in doing it? I would like to know that. I wish we could hear more stories from like everyday women who are taking it. And I'm pretty sure if I went on TikTok and I did a search, I'm pretty sure I could follow someone's journey or like hear someone's story. And maybe I'll do that. But I would want it to be someone who I could tell like just didn't have the money to just be blowing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do want to hear a regular everyday woman's story. Yes, I decided to do a GLP-1. Yes, I've had success on it. And yes, it's time for me to kind of stop taking it, or it's about to be time for me to stop taking it. But like, I don't want to stop. Like, I want to keep it, or like, I'm afraid. And I wondered that for Oprah. But in her article, she said that at one point in time, she stopped the GLP-1 and she did start gaining her weight back, which is what made her say, yeah, I'm going to just stick with this for the rest of my life. But I'm like, I don't know if that's an option for everyday people. So while I get that she was trying to be transparent, and I also get that doesn't she make money from WW still, or no? I don't know. Isn't she an investor or a CEO? She's something. So sometimes I'm like, are you saying those little things, like leaving those little breadcrumbs? Because at the end of the day, you know, if somebody's doctor tells them no, they can come to WW and y'all gonna say yes every time. Yeah. But do the people know this when they initially start? Or is it just a conclusion that they happen to come to on their own if they do have to stop for some reason and then they get back on it? Or is it just one of those things that I would liken it, even though I know it's not the same, I would liken it to getting lashes. You start getting lashes and you just never stop. You cannot stop. You feel like you're going to be a lifer. once you start getting lashes. And I would almost say that I could see how this would be similar. You start taking a GLP-1, like it works. It does everything that you were hoping it was going to do. And now it's kind of like, well, why do I have to give this thing up? Because this was doing everything I wanted it to do. And it's worth it for me to stay on it. I don't know. If anyone has a story that they would like to privately share with me, I would love to hear all about it. If you have a story that you feel like you want to talk about here on the podcast, because let me tell you, people used to write me and ask me questions about like treadmills or like the Peloton bike or what should I be eating and da 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 da. These days, people will write me and ask me my opinion on GLP-1s. And I have to say to them like, oh, I quit coaching right as that stuff was taking off. So I know people that use them, and I know people that use them and they are losing weight. Like they have success on it, but I don't have the information that people are asking me because I haven't coached anybody and like actually sat and paid attention to anyone's journey from start to finish to be able to answer some of the questions that people ask. But then sometimes people just want to know someone's opinion. And I'm like, well, my opinion is if you feel like it's going to work for you, like, girl, nothing beats a failure but a try, especially if you've been doing all the other things and none of that has seemed to work for you. Like I said on the last call, I would do it. But if I was going to do it, I would want someone to tell me, like I would just as a precaution, I would want somebody to say, just want you to know that if this ends up working for you, this might be like a lifelong thing. Like you might, in order to maintain your results, you might need to do it for the rest of your life. I'm a person that would want to know that because not going to hold you, that probably would impact whether or not I actually did it. Because yeah, I think I would want to know that. And I feel like Oprah cannot be the only person who is having that experience. I thought her article was very interesting for so many reasons. If you haven't read it, go to people.com, read about it, because she talks about why she kind of felt like her attempts to lose weight before, why they never really worked. And she gives specific reasons why she feels like it never worked. And the reasons that she gives are very relatable. Like, yes, and you understand it. I want people to go read it because I fully understand everything that Oprah is trying to communicate. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, but Oprah, are you saying these things because at the end of the day, if more people end up having to stay on GLP-1s, some of those people will have to come to WW, which means, you know, more money in your pocket. Or are you just trying to be a girl's girl and you're just trying to let the people know? I don't know. What do we think about that? I don't know. I have mixed feelings. About all of it, but specifically the fact that I feel like she felt the need to tell everybody she was going to stay on it for the rest of her life. I'm like, why did you have to tell us that? But maybe that's a thing and people are just not mentioning that. Maybe that's like one of those secrets that everybody is gatekeeping. I don't know. But, and girl, your secrets are safe with me. Girl, DM me and talk to me about it because I want to know. And I promise I don't repeat. And when you think about it, I know a lot of people's business because I've coached so many women. I know all their business and you ain't never heard me tell it. So if you would like to enlighten me on this situation, please, the phone lines are open because I would love to discuss and learn. Okay? Let's talk about what's on my TV, and really it's nothing. I haven't seen anything worth repeating up here. The only thing that I watched that I was just like, now that is something. It's a documentary on Netflix, and is it called The Evil Influencer or The Bad Influencer? I don't know, but some lady who lives in Utah became a parenting guru, and they talk about how she got elevated to this position. She became a parenting guru, ended up becoming this one family's, I guess, live in, or the family went and moved in with this lady. I can't really figure out which way that went. But the woman ended up living with this other woman and her children. I guess that lady left her husband. I don't know. But when I mean to tell you they were abusing those kids, they were abusing them, recording it and putting it on YouTube. Like it was on the internet. And then part of the documentary, they kind of show the comments where people had been calling out the behavior, saying it was bad, saying it was negligent, saying that the police needed to get involved. But I guess that was just falling on deaf ears and nothing really ever happened until one day, one of the kids managed to escape the home, ran to a neighbor's house. That neighbor wouldn't answer the door. Ran to another neighbor's house. And I guess that neighbor could see the child on their camera, ended up letting the little boy inside their house. And on site, that neighbor called 911. And you could hear in that man's voice that he was so choked up by what he was looking at. But he said, like, yeah, the little boy had wounds or like bruises all over his body. His ankles and his wrists had duct tape on them. He looked malnourished. Like the neighbor was like, hey, I don't know where this little boy came from or what has happened to him, but it's clear that he just escaped something that was god awful. And y'all need to send somebody out here to check him out and help this kid. And so fast forward, they end up finding out that it is in fact this woman who was like a speaker. And I can't remember, did they say what religion she was? But she was part of some religion. And of course, she was using that as the foundation for her theories and her ideas about parenting and marriage and the family and like all that stuff. I don't know. But if you have the time and if you really want to see some mess, get up there and watch that, because it was like oh my gosh, how was this even being put on YouTube? And YouTube never flagged it. And I'm sure that lady was probably making so much money from the monetization of her YouTube channel, because the two women ended up starting that channel together. Not only that, but people were paying her to, I guess, coach them on how to parent their troubled kid, quote unquote, troubled kids. And I want to say the lady was making, if I'm remembering correctly, that lady was making almost $50,000 a month just from coaching. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I am actually a fantastic mother. When I think about it, I'm like, if people was paying you to tell them to abuse their kids, surely somebody, anybody could be literally getting paid on telling people how to be like an awesome mom. Girl, and really, you wouldn't even have to pay me for that many sessions, because girl, my motherhood tips are quick and easy to implement. Number one, feed the kids. If you feed them and you feed them on time, if you can feed them before it's time, even better. Fed kids are happy kids, right? Feed them. Number two, give them stuff to do. Just like my mama did me. My mama kept me involved in everything. Give them something to do. Sign them up for something. You've got to be in a club or on a team. That's our rule in this house. You have to be on a team or in a club or playing some type of instrument or something, but you just cannot just be up here, going to school and then clocking out like you ain't got nothing else to do. No, ma'am, no, sir. You need to be in something extra, some type of extracurricular, anything. You can do karate. You can take pottery lessons. You can learn the piano. You can do, and it can be attached to school. Even better for me, right? But you got to be doing something, keep them busy, right? That's number two. Number three, don't let them children stay up all night. I don't care how old they are. At a certain time, your body needs to rest. And like I tell my kids at this age, because now they are a little bit older and they're hip to the fact that other kids can stay up late. I'm like, okay, fine. You don't have to be in the bed sleep, but you need to be in the bed. So you can be in bed watching TV. You can be in the bed, playing a little video game. Like, I don't care. But when I mean to tell you after a certain time, you need to go ahead and start decompressing and shutting it down, you need to do just that. Honor your body's need for rest. Them's the three things. And then any extra little loving you can do, girl, do it. Hang up some decorations, make stuff a little special, take them somewhere when you can, okay? Try to be pleasant. I try not to project my issues onto my children, right? Okay? Because when they are in their 40s, I don't want them needing to have a revival. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want their word of the year to be anything that makes them have to reach back to this time when they were with me. No. I want them to be like, oh no, my mom's actually great. I might have issues, but it's not because of that lady. These children that were with that woman, oh my gosh. I doubt very seriously they will do an update to talk about what's happened with those kids. But they brought the father in for questioning. And you could tell he was like WTF. Like that man had no idea any of that stuff was happening to his kids. So hopefully the kids are still with their father. But then I'm like, bro, where were you? What happened to you? You mean to tell me that lady just moved out of your house and moved in with this woman? Like y'all really do be that brainwashed by whatever. Are they Mormons? I don't know. I would have to go back and watch it to figure out what religion that was. But I'm like, does it work that way for some of y'all? That's why I just say every day, every lifetime, I'm going to choose to be a Black woman because the bare minimum level of common sense that we have would not have us roped up in nothing like that. Could you imagine? Let me say, oh my gosh, I'm going to move out of here with my 3 kids. I'm going to move in with this lady in Utah because I need that much help raising my kids. My husband would be like, girl, what you ain't finna do. Like if you feel like you need to go to Utah to kind of gather yourself and figure things out, you can go. But you're not taking these kids to do that. Like, so on the other side of that too, I'm like, who are these men? Like, I don't get it. And this is also a reminder that people live very different lives in extreme ways. I don't mean that from like, well, yeah, obviously from like socioeconomic statuses and stuff like that. We know everybody lives different. But when I mean to say people have completely different lives, I mean, it's really people out here leaving their husbands, which is fine, girl. If you don't want to be with him, girl, we'll act like we don't know him no more. So it's not even about him. But you really took them kids and moved in with this lady in Utah. And now y'all are both in jail. Make it make sense to me. Watch it if you have time. For book club this month, we're reading The Bluest Eye. I've heard from some of you. Y'all have joined book club. I'm so excited. And now let me tell you, rule number 1 in book club is to read the book. Rule number 2 for book club is, girl, come to the meetings. Now, come to the meetings. It's only once a month. It's typically the last Thursday of the month at 8 o'clock. Join us for a good time. We actually talk about the books and the conversations are interesting and I learned so much. Follow along on Substack, get involved with the conversations, and it's going to be a fun time. So I'm excited. Also this month, I am finally going to finish reading All About Love by Bell Hooks. You know, that is a book that I often pick up. I'll read a few pages. I'll put that book down and then I just forget about it. But I'm like, no, last year I read all the books for book club, plus some books that I was checking out at the library. So I feel like I did a really good job reading last year. This year, I want to read, of course, all of the books for book club, which would be 12 books. And then I would like to do at least 6 additional like physical hard copy books. And then, I still listen to books on Audible, but I would like to finish this year with reading at least 18 books, which I know does not sound like a lot to people who are like big in the book world. But as we've stated on this podcast before, I have a million hobbies. I really do. Many of them also involve reading, like the cooking and the baking, the learning to play music, like all that stuff. You do have to read to do all of those things, but but I don't count that towards my reading goal because it's not really reading a book cover to cover. So my goal for this year is to do 18 books, 12 for book club, 6 additional. And then if I get anything above and beyond that, that's just going to be icing on my book reading cake. And then lastly, I think we did talk about this, but I am looking for YouTubers that are 40 and up, Black women that are just sharing their lifestyle. If you have a favorite YouTuber that you like to watch, and some people have shared with me on Threads already, but again, if you have a favorite, girl, message me and tell me who they are so I can watch them while I'm on the treadmill. And I think that's it. I am going to try to make it over to the library to pick up a book that I have on hold. Actually, I want to go do that. I need to return 2 of the books that I have, and I just need to go ahead and buy these books. One of the books is literally sold out everywhere. It's sold out online. It's sold out in all the stores. The store closest to me that has it is 35 miles away. It's in the city. And so I'm like, okay, well, the next time I'm in the city, if I remember, I need to go into a Barnes and Noble and buy this book. The other book, and they're both books about canning. The other book is available on Amazon. I just don't think I need both books. I don't think I need 2 books about canning. I just need one. And to be honest, I need to choose which one is the one that I need in particular. And I think I know which one that is. And unfortunately for me, it is the one that is sold out everywhere except for that Barnes and Noble that's in Buckhead. I want to say it was in Buckhead. So we'll see about that. But yes, girl, we'll be speaking again real soon. When you're out, say something nice to somebody, compliment another woman. Don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you, and never knock another woman's hustle. Happy 2026, girl. Love you. Bye.